the president, I hope that the president will take care of all those monuments back in their rightful place. And I think he is. And now we're at 12:30, and I have another appointment. Now look, and listen, I appreciate you all showing up, whether you like my answer or whether you didn't.
Congresswoman, we have one more question.
Okay, we got one more. If we don't take a stand, you will have to revamp these procedures or these SOPs, and you will have to have standard operating procedures on how some of this goes down. But they are absolutely this. There's so many defined employees that will stand in your face and say, "You can't touch me. I don't have to do anything." Those are the people who need to go. They need to be thrown out. I've had people come in my regional office and say, "Can I work from your office?" We're like, "Well, where's your regional office?" "It's in Greenville, but I don't want to drive 45 minutes. I'm like, "Get the name, because he's one that needs to be put on the list." If you're that lazy and you don't want to drive 45 minutes to make a living from your family, then get rid of them. Okay, start in the middle there.
All right.
I've got a Planned Parenthood question.
Okay.
I think, why is our government giving millions of dollars? At least that's what I've read.
Oh, yeah.
And they are making billions of dollars murdering babies. And we should not have our fingers in any of that. At one time, I think I read that Planned Parenthood claimed that health departments could not do their job, the job that they do. But I don't believe that. Other than the abortion thing, health departments are great.
Well, health departments are there to do the exams, to stand in the gap. Community healthcare centers are great, and we want to keep funding them. Your healthcare centers, look, all Planned Parenthood is a place where you can, they promote abortion, and they promote things that the most of the American public don't want. If you did if you did a poll on how many people in this country agreed to abortion up to the day they were born, which is what some states institute, we don't want that, do we? Most Americans want a line drawn in the sand that says, no, that's not right. But
and it's not true.
And like I said, there are states that offer that.
No, there are not. No one knows.
No, there are states that offer abortion.
Which one? Which one?
There are states that offer abortion.
No,
Go to the next question. New York.
New York allows the very last state.
All right, guys, saving time.
Yes, Representative Harshbarger. I have called repeatedly. I would like to ask you, do you have confidence in what Elon Musk is doing, going into our databases in Washington? Do you have confidence in what he's doing?
Well, let me give you the truth about that. They have the people that Elon Musk has chosen to go in and just do forensic audits. I told you this before, you can believe me or not, and I've verified this. They have gone through background checks. They're not taking your information and putting it on the World Wide Web so everybody can see it.
what are
They're
they
not.
doing with it?
You would say that. What? Look, this is what we're exposing. The only way you would know any of this is if we didn't have those young people going in and looking at these line item numbers. Yes, ma'am. I have confidence that they are doing it the right way.
Saying that without my personal information, Bill and Anderson, and everyone else in this room today, I want it signed.
Okay, are you asking, now say that, you want me to sign a letter saying I have confidence in him that he won't cause the breach? Look, you can't even be sure that your information's not gonna be breached when you go to the grocery store.
All right, we have to move on.
Okay, I know where you're coming from, and I have confidence. Okay, I got you, and I have confidence, honey. All
All
right.
right, guys. Move on.
Here's the next question,
Congressman Harshbarger, thank you for being here and taking the questions today. I have two questions, twofold. One is, I wondered how you felt about President Trump pardoning the January 6th rioters who have committed crimes, especially those against our police officers, the men in blue. And the second question is, how do you feel about President Trump saying that Ukraine was the aggressor in Russia and that Zelensky was a dictator, and that we voted, U.S. voted in the UN resolution with Russia and North Korea against what condemning the war. I don't get it.
Okay, what was the first question? I'm trying to solve all this.
How do you feel about the
The January
rioters?
6th, and I addressed this right after he did the pardons. If there's someone that had a prior criminal record, then your state and local law enforcement should be able to track them with a blanket pardon. And I don't know who all he did pardon. I don't have a list of that. If it's anybody, but he also pardoned the Christians that prayed outside of abortion clinics. Listen, people have blown it. I was there. I was in the chamber that day. I wasn't outside. I didn't see what happened, but we know we're going to delve deeper into that to find out. And we're finding out that some of those people and those FBI agents were outside. And I'm not going to relitigate them. Well, then why did the January 6th committee destroy hundreds of pages of documents? And they Democrats. That was the Democrats who destroyed hundreds of pages of documents after they were told not to destroy them. So that's a federal offense. I told you that I agree with the pardons of some of those people who walked in and walked out.
What about the ones who attacked the lady?
Anyway, well, listen to me. The January 6th pardons, the president, that was one of the promises he made on the campaign trail, and he did. And I told, at the first interview I did after the fact, if there are people with prior criminal records for whatever reason, your local law enforcement are going to know that. And I've talked to the sheriff about that. Lord Jesus, they will keep track of that. And now the Ukraine. I don't know what President Trump said. I wasn't there, but it is not. Do you want me to explain my answer? Listen to me.
Quiet, guys.
I haven't voted for one dime for Ukraine because they cannot show me where they're taking your taxpayer money and giving it. What we are finding with the money that was sent to Ukraine is that it didn't go to Ukraine, a lot of it. And so, ma'am, I'm looking at the records. I'm telling you the truth. Well, you don't have to believe me. I'm just telling you the truth. And so for him to say that Zelensky started it, we know that Russia provoked this war. And I'm just telling you, I don't know what context he even meant that in. But I'm just, look, I wasn't at the breaking press conference. I'm doing my job. I'm trying to save the country. And so I don't watch your propagandist news, ma'am. I don't.
All right, guys.
Okay, next one. Trying to answer it as quickly as I can.
I have sort of a question a lot of people probably wouldn't even care about. How are you today?
I'm good.
So one of the promises that President Trump made was the JFK and the Epstein files being released on day one. And it seems like they're kind of dragging their feet on that a little bit. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Well,
is that even something that crosses your all's mind?
Yeah, they had to get the new attorney general sworn in. And last week she said they're on my desk. Now, last night the first tranche they released. Now, it's just like she said, the former FBI director, they hid a lot of those pages of the Epstein flight logs. So we're trying now to get the new FBI director to go back and research where are those logs at and who's indicted in that. And a lot of this stuff is out in the public anyway. But look, the JFK files, the RFK files, the Epstein files. Wouldn't you love to know about the COVID origins? All these things Every one of these things need to be released. If you're gonna be a transparent government, then let the public know. And this has been a long time coming. But they did have to do their due diligence in investigating that. But when the AG found out that there were pages, hundreds of pages missing, then they hid that. A budget okay, Cody, where are you? Hang on, ma'am, we'll get you in just a second.
Okay, for sake of time, we got time for one more.
Well, she's got a budget question. She's got a budget. Stand up, stand up.
Sake of time.
12:30.
Nobody on this side.
It's at 11 to 12:30.
Well, what time is it?
I have a budget question.
Well,
How many people in here, how many people in here would like to see a state income tax? Because if all this stuff gets done and pushed to the states, like taking away the education department, taking away Medicare and Medicaid benefits, taking away VA benefits, taking away the people who take care of the VA. I just ask it, how many people in here want to have a state income tax?
You do? I mean, yeah, we should absorb it when the federal.
Oh, I appreciate you taking a little heat off of me.
All right, guys. Last
Hey,
question.
Cody, wait a minute. Let's get some of their questions. Just go ahead. I'm not afraid to answer your questions.
Oh, yes, you are. You're cherry picking. We walked right past her.
Standing right behind the desk.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Harshbarger, thank you for being here. I know it's not easy, but we have real concerns, and we are your constituents too,
Yes,
if we don't agree with you. I like it on record that I've not been paid to be here or to speak. My name is Karen Cross. I live on Tulip Grove in Bristol, Tennessee, and I am your constituent. I'm a retired public school educator with 33 years of experience in service. I taught middle school, high school, and college level U.S. government. I am speaking today in regard to the Affordable Care Act. My husband and I currently have health insurance through the marketplace created by the Affordable Care Act. I'm a survivor of breast cancer from 2021, so I have a pre-existing condition. I've looked into acquiring private health insurance and have been told I will not be eligible for another 4 years. If not for the ACA, I would be uninsured.
Yeah.
I have a niece on the ACA who has diabetes. She has a pre-existing condition and will be unable to acquire private health insurance as well. I'm fully aware that Project 2025, which is the blueprint this current federal administration is following.
I haven't even read Project 2025.
Okay.
Excuse me, you're telling me the truth.
In all due respect, everything that is happening was part of Project
Well,
2025.
the
Excuse me, please let me answer my
Okay.
question.
All right.
Okay, I'm shaking. This is very important to my life, okay? In all due respect here, Project 2025 is happening before our eyes. Okay? Whether you have read it or not,
I have.
okay, then maybe you should, because that is what is happening.
So tell me what they're
Here's my
doing.
question.
Okay.
Please listen
All
to
right.
me. Okay, I came here to sit in line for this.
Okay.
I need to know where you stand on this issue. According to 2025, Project 2025, there will either be the elimination of the ACA or extreme restructuring. I will be unable to get insurance. This is a personal issue for me.
Yeah.
I need to know, and I hope people are recording this because I'm going to keep you to your word what
Yes,
you say
ma'am.
on this. Because we are in a situation where, our representatives and our Senate so close between Democrats and Republicans, it will only take
Yeah.
a few of you to be brave enough to stand up and support us.
This is what I understand, and I have not read 2025, and the president disavowed 2025. I'll read the healthcare section. We're never gonna get rid of all the Obamacare. We just won't, because that's a safety net program. That's why when we talk about Medicaid, you're just gonna get rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse. We have to have, ma'am, wait, listen to me. I'm trying to explain. You're not gonna go without insurance. There's gonna be a safety net program, I'm sure. Because I don't know what the president's finally gonna say, but we know that there are millions of people. When I went to Congress, they offered Obamacare to me. And now well, you know, I'm on now Medicare. So the bottom line is this. We know there's millions of Americans who have pre-existing conditions. This was the whole premise.
I
But
understand all that. I need to know where you stand.
we want to, there's going to have to be a safety net program for people
Are
like you.
you going
Every
Yes,
town.
yes, of course. Listen, I'm on the committee that will make these choices.
And she hasn't read the project.
Man, you don't have to worry. There's going to be a safety net program. I don't know why.
But are you gonna fight for it?
Yes, I just told you, yes. Listen to me. I've been in the healthcare industry almost 40 years. I've taken care of people with insurance, without insurance. I'm fighting to take these programs like 340B that were meant for uninsured and underinsured people that the hospital systems are raping, that your big chain pharmacies are raping. I'm owl about the rural healthcare and saving these hospitals, for God's sakes. Listen, it's almost like you think I'm the devil or the cartel and I'm the enemy. I am not. I am here to work for you to make sure you don't fall under that. Okay, so listen, the president understands that too. It is up to me. It is up to me and my physician colleagues and my healthcare colleagues on both sides of the aisle to make sure there is some kind of program for those uninsurable patients.
Okay.
Education.
All right, we're moving on.
Well, I'm one of them.
All right, guys. Hey, out of respect for everybody, we're moving on.
Okay.
Education.
Context, first of all, thank you for being here, Congresswoman. I'm John Bartles from Potty Flats. Want to let you know that I do have a question. I'll get to it, but I just want to let you know my background so you have it. First of all, I'm a retired shipyard worker in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm also a former house painter, 20-year military veteran, and also a civil servant for 23 years from DHS headquarters to FEMA. And first, I want to ask the question: how many of you in the room know somebody that has been impacted by a disaster, either here in Tennessee, North Carolina, anywhere else across the United States? So I can see by the show of hands, many of you agree that no county, no state is immune from a disaster.
All right.
So do you think you should have the income tax that should not be taxed during a disaster and 6 months after the disaster? It should be not taxed for your income or your, the question is this, the question to you is, do you think that your tax income, if you are impacted by a disaster, should be taxed during the disaster period and 6 months after? Okay, right now, I'll tell you, as a FEMA employee, I'll tell you, your income tax is still taxed. The only benefit you have is that they delay your income tax filing and the itemized deductions for the items that were lost, stolen, or destroyed. That's the only tax benefit you have. So I'm saying, through our congressman, through you, other citizens, show some compassion for people that are impacted, for families and kids without homes. They're starting from scratch again. They need their money back.
That's so funny that I just had a call with FEMA. That's why I was late getting in here, because they want to withhold some money from Tennessee to help these disaster victims, and we're working through that. So it's not like I'm just out there fiddling my thumbs and I didn't want to come in. I'm on a call working for the people who have incurred unbelievable. And I've been in every one of these counties that have been hit with disasters. And I was there the day they pulled them off the top of the hospital. And if it wasn't for the Starlink system that we deployed to Johnson County, Roan Mountain, Unicoi, they had no communication. And the government denied, the FCC denied us using that Starlink system. We went with that. They were using the radios, the ham radios that the bear officers use. I mean, that the bear hunters use. That's what the police officers were having to use. So I'm absolutely engaged with people, trying to get them the help they need. And yes, sir.
My follow-up question is this. I am a federal employee. My information's been hacked. If you don't know, there's three kinds of people and three kinds of businesses and three kinds of countries. Those that don't know they've been hacked.
What's your question?
The question is this, many people are concerned about Elon Musk. My question is, would you rather have an insider help who's part of the problem solve the issue?
He's South African.
The other issues, would you rather have an outsider? He's got multiple passports. He's got multiple. All right, that's a smart businessman, which the government needs to get more efficient.
Well, it goes back to, hang on, it goes back to what I said. You know, they don't want successful people running this government. They do not want successful people running the government. You know why? Because we come up with solutions to the problems. We don't just listen and be herded by sheep. I'm part of a caucus that bucks the leadership every time they try to do something because it costs money that we don't have. And no, I'm not one to go along to get along. If it's for you, I'm going to stand up. Listen, you know, I know you got questions. Listen to me. We'll answer every one of your questions. I won't be able to physically stand here and answer those questions. If it's like along the lines that somebody's already asked, then we'll get to you and my staff will address those questions. Okay, come here, let her get, okay, all right, hang on and we'll get you. Yes.
We're here at the Ron Ramsey Agriculture Center. And so I just wanted to actually praise, in the wake of the disaster in Hurricane Helene, how much we have depended on federal U.S. Department of Agriculture employees, our FSA employees, our NRCS employees, our Forest Service employees have been so instrumental in supporting this whole web of community and mutual outpouring. And we're still facing a disaster that our community has never faced before in the wake of flooding. We have about 1,300 farms that are destroyed. We have multiple billions of dollars that those farms are recovering. So thank you for all that you have done to help federal aid come down. And I would hope that for disaster impacted areas that you help mitigate any firing of federal employees who are instrumental to our economies getting
We're
back on
already
the ground.
working on that,
So,
as a matter of fact. And there have been some of those federal employees, and we've been on the phone saying, look, we need those to help with this disaster relief. So we're working on that. I mean, common sense. You have to use common sense when you're in any position, especially in one like I'm in. You know, because what happens if you don't use common sense to fix these problems, then you have that uncommon nonsense. And don't buy into the lie that some of this stuff is going to happen because you're trying to make a more efficient government. I just don't want that one. And we got another question, Rachel? Yes, sir.
Right here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm also with the Appalachian RC&D Council, with Emily, and we've been working with farmers to help them recover from Hurricane Helene. And right now, we raised about $250,000 of private money to put on the ground to farmers to help them recover. But with the recent federal funding freeze, I'm actually in crisis management mode, trying to keep this organization afloat rather than raising money from private sources to actually put money on the ground to help farmers recover. And so the way I understand, I have 4 businesses myself. And I understand the need to be able to cut money, but the way it's being done is just, I don't know if it's incompetent or callous or both, but it's really affecting in a really bad way. And we're just one nonprofit. I think there's 250 nonprofits in the region that's actually being affected by these freezes.
Well, this is where we're going in. When you make me aware of it, we make them aware of that. And it's like we said, you can't throw the baby out the bathwater. And so, wait a minute, she's got a question. And that's something, you need to make me aware of that. And then we send that right on up the chain. This is why the workers that were either on probation or that they negated through the departments, we're working on that as we speak, trying to get them back so they can help with the disaster relief.
But yet she has confidence.
Yes, that's the common sense thing I'm talking about that most people don't understand.
Mary Kay Christopherson. I work in accounting and IT and have for 50 years, including federal government projects for FEMA to try to resolve supply chains issues after Katrina, and was appointed by Tommy Thompson when he was head of Department of Homeland Security to work on a pilot project for child support enforcement.
Okay.
So different areas, but and I work with auditors over my shoulder all the time, so I understand auditing. I was trained in auditing by Caterpillar. My question is, I read through the blueprint for the budget resolution and the 10 guiding principles, and I have questions with my address I will submit.
Okay.
I'd like written answers, but the last principle I thought was really, of the 10 guiding principles says, it is irresponsible and immoral to leave the next generation with debt that, as George Washington stated, would be throwing upon posterity the burden which we ourselves ought to bear. And I think you made that point about your grandchildren. But when you look at the numbers from an auditing standpoint, the budget resolution has a $2 trillion difference between the tax cut amount and the savings amount.
And that's what we've said. Now, this goes over 10 years.
Alma mater, Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania, projects that this will make $6 trillion additional over the next 10 years. So how is that not throwing it upon?
Well, this, I'm glad you would say this is just the framework to get them started on the budget and on the debt. You know, we want it to just be deficit neutral, for God's sakes. Not spending anymore and not even cutting. We have to begin to bend the curve. So yes, it's like I said, you'll spend $7 trillion over the next 10 years. But now the Senate has to approve our resolution, or they were going to send us something that didn't have everything that the president asked us in their budget, and they were hell bent on doing that. But we ended up giving them the instructions. So after that, then the hard work starts with the reconciliation, okay? Yeah, that's her questions. The hard work will start now with reconciliation to try to get to that number, and we understand that. So what I want you all to be doing, well, you all are my constituents, but there's going to be other Congress people who are going to balk at that and who are going to say, we can't do it, we can't do that. And there's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse within these agencies. There just is. And we've already uncovered a lot of it. This is just a tip of the iceberg.
Congress to address.
Well, everybody's charged with addressing it, but they don't do it. This is the problem. Well, we have that list of pork every year, and nobody's ever done it. This, yeah.
They do find savings, they bring reports to Congress or companies.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Well, now we have all three branches, and we better produce. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm saying when you were given the responsibility, then you could hold it. Last year, all I could say is no, no, no. Now the rubber hits the road, baby, and it's our job to do that. Yes, yes, and everything's, listen to me, everything's going to be litigated, and you can see now that the courts are upholding a lot of these decisions that the president's made. That's the last course is the court system, and that's what's happening. If you get after well, exactly.
Okay.
It's just there to help point out. It's just there to help point out the inefficiencies. It is our job to go after those. He's not doing it. He can't fire one person. He can't take $1. They are pointing them out to us so we can be accountable to you to say, hey, look at here. You know, these are the red flags. This is what this Doge committee is. They don't have authority to do anything except to show us what they've uncovered, and then with an executive order or with the department head, that's where the cuts happen.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. What do you think the chances are of getting the reconciliation memorial that was illegally removed from Arlington National Cemetery? What do you think are the chances of getting it returned? And also, I am so pleased, glad that there are not going to be men in my granddaughter's. I will have to change.
What's he talking about?
It's a thing fairly for scholarships.
Yeah.
Under Title IX, it was intended.
That's exactly right. That was an executive order I was there to sign because it is not right. These young women will never win another championship or get another scholarship. Because
Transgender.
biologically, you're born a man or a woman. You can continue to be. There is no disputing the facts. There are no disputing the facts. You're either, you can't change your DNA, ma'am. You can't change it. Listen, are you changing from one sex to another? No. Ma'am, I'm not going to address the issue.
Because you don't
Okay?
know what you're talking
No,
about.
I'm answering his question. Do you want a man that is 10 times stronger than a woman who is mediocre in his sport to go in and comfort these young women? There was a woman there that was a volleyball player that ended up with a concussion, and now she cannot function as a young woman because she was paralyzed because of the hit that he gave her. That is I'm not going to back up on my decision to support Title IX. So thank you. That the president, I hope that the president will take care of all those monuments back in their rightful place. And I think he will. And now we're at 12:30, and I have another appointment. Now, look, and listen, I appreciate you all showing up, whether you like my answer or whether you didn't.
Congresswoman, we have one more question.
Okay, we got one more question.
Representative Harshbarger.
Don't be part of the mix, baby.
Representative Harshbarger.
Yes.
I'm Jen Hester and I'm a teacher in your district.
Yes.
I teach first grade. I read that you were the first in your family to graduate from high school and from college. I'm the first in my family to graduate from college.
Very good.
You and I both also graduated from ETSU, so go back. I know that you understand the need for your constituents to have their children go to high quality, free public